So I just want to say hi to all the vice principals and let them know that Mandy and Alexis are in class, refusing to leave. So when you watch the video, you'll know that they're still here. And right now it's 1:12, a little late for their other class. We're supposed to be in A block. Enjoy, ladies. Okay, so we're looking at difference of squares. A couple things to keep in mind. Number one, it's a subtraction. So it has to be a subtraction. Can't be anything else. What we do is we square root the first term and we split that into the first on both of them. Okay? Then, vice principals, now just know Alexis has left, but Mandy's still here. Okay. Then we square root the second one. And that goes on the back of each one. Okay? What we have to also point out is our signs are opposites. What that does is it allows our terms to cancel. So let's check that out. Here when we actually have if we're multiplying x plus 2 times x minus 2, these opposite signs make a minus 2x, and the other one makes a plus 2x. So altogether, they cancel out. They make zero pairs. Bye, Mandy.
I love you.
Bye. Me not so much. Okay, so here you can see zero squares get canceled out. Okay, so our x is canceled out. They're gone. So they are here in our diagram. You do need to know that, but they result in zero. What we have up front is the x times the x to give us the x squared, and at the back, plus 2 times minus 2 to give us the minus 4. So our net result is x squared minus 4. Now what we're going to do is start with x squared minus 4, and you have to tell me the factoring, which isn't that hard, right? Because you square root the first and square root the second. Okay. What's interesting to note is be aware this is a binomial, so it's 2 terms. All the other ones you've seen before are trinomials, 3 terms. Okay. Now we also have to watch out for our enemy, Mr. GCF, because you don't want to get GCF'd. Okay. Because we're going to be going along, doing your work, and next thing you know, boom, we forgot to go GCF. Okay. We're going to see that as we go through these notes. It will pop up. Okay. Any questions? You confused? Well, let's just do the work and go through the pattern how to do it. And I think you'll start getting it, okay? So what we do is let's just draw this one to start with. Okay. So here we have 4x squareds. That must make a square. Okay. So there's 4x squareds. Oops. Let's draw it this way, yes. Here's 4x squareds. And here's a minus 1. We'll shade it in. Okay. So what's happened is our x's have disappeared. One set of x's are positive, the other set of x's are negative. Okay, and so our factors up top then are 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. Let me shade it in. So you can use tiles if you want. We have a difference of squares. Almost the same, aren't they? The only thing that's different is the subtraction and addition sign. So what we did is we took 4x squared and we square rooted it. And the answers were written at the front. We took the 1 and we square rooted it. Something unusual, but the square root of 1 is in fact 1. And that goes at the back. Okay. So square root, plus minus. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, now G.
Do you know how to use like 4, like 4x squared, and make just 4? How do you turn on to do 4 by 1?
Is 4 by 1 a square? That's how. Okay, so we're looking at squares for today. So you got to make a square with it. So I wouldn't give you a 6 or an 8 or a 10, but I would give you a 9 I would give you a 16 or a 25 or 6 times 6, 36, or 49, right? Those are all perfect squares. So that's what we're looking at today. Okay, perfect squares. All right, so let's factor this. What's the square root of 4b squared? 2b. Right, square root of 4 equals 2. Square root of b squared equals b. So we have 2b at the front. What's the square root of 121? 11. So we have 11 and 11 at the back. Then all we have to do is go plus minus. That easy. So what happened is we have a negative 22b and a plus 22b, and those canceled out. And that's why we just have 4b squared at the front and minus 121 at the back. Okay. Now, easy to take the square root, isn't it? Can you take the square root of the next one? What's the square root of 6? What's the square root of 150? I don't know what it is. So eventually you might get into something like that, but that's not where we're going yet. What do 6 and 150 have in common? 3. Is there a higher one? 6. Okay, 650 does work out. I didn't know either until I checked it. But if you know, take out your calculator. 150 divided by 6 equals 25. So divide them both by 6, and that's a GCF. Don't lose it. Don't be a GCF loser. X squared minus 25. So you have to factor it again. Don't lose the 6, but try and factor x squared minus 25. Go. X plus 5, x minus 5. How many factors? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, try the next one. Now you're going to have a GCF that's a number and a letter. All right, because 32 is not a perfect square, so think GCF. I think you want to take out a 2, M. Ashley Bowl.
4m plus 7.
Good. Any questions now? How you guys doing? Thumbs up down the middle? Okay. What's up, Haley? What's your question?
Why was this really not so confused?
This has nothing to do with yesterday's, though.
Then I'm still really confused.
Okay.
But I think that might just have to be, how did you get 4? Did you just divide it?
No, I square rooted 16. Okay, so 4 times 4 equals 16. So what we're doing is going the backwards, and that equals 4. Squared. No, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Sometimes the simple questions like that, right, make a big difference. So definitely ask that, right? Any other questions? Okay. Next one, do it. As fast as you're done, put up your hand. Go. It's a race. Ashley, done. What's the answer?
5x plus 4 x minus 4.
Wrong.
What?
Yep. Try it. Gotta be careful. This is the problem, folks. Go look at the top of the page, please. Michaela Pirtano.
It says the subtraction of 2 perfect squares.
Is that a subtraction?
No.
Yeah. So what you say is this is an addition. Therefore, because it's an addition, it's not factorable. Okay. Because there's no GCF and it's not a difference of squares. Okay. Let's So we lulled you to sleep, and you fell asleep, snoring and all. Had a good dream. Didn't see that, okay? If it's a plus sign, you can't do it. Okay? Go for it. Do the next one, number 5. Don't get lulled to sleep. If you get lulled to sleep, you're going to get this. 12y minus 9z times 12y plus 9z. What's the problem with having the 12 and the 9? GCF. You can take out a 3. 4y minus 3z. Got it? What about the second one? You can take out a 3 as well. 4y plus 3z. So what we should do is multiply these two GCFs together. 9 times 4y minus 3z. 4y plus 3z. Now that's the long way. The short way is to divide by 9. What's 144 divided by 9? 16. So you'd get 9 bracket 16y squared minus 9z squared. Okay? So you have to make sure that you are at prime factors. It's hard because it looks awesome, doesn't it? It's so easy. Now that's a super hard question to throw at you. You might see one like that. You're going to see a lot of it, okay? Just be careful. Now on a multiple choice test, just watch for prime factors. Okay? Yep. No, but down here with the 3s you are... Oh, for the GCF. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're totally right. I should draw an arrow to these two. Boop, boop. There you go. Okay. Good. So there's no GCF. Okay. All right. Number 16. Go for it. This one will be factor and factor. Factor, factor. 9x squared plus 4. Can't do anything with that. 9x squared minus 4. You need to do something with that. So you have another difference of squares. How many people saw that? No? Okay, factor that one again. Okay, so split that second one up. It's another difference of squares. So you should get 3x plus 2, 3x minus 2. How many factors do you have? So, yeah, 3 factors. Okay, 3 factors. Sorry, my plus sign disappeared there. Questions? Yeah. What's this sign? What does it have to be? Yeah, so watch for that. This is really common where you can factor one of them more, but the other one has to stay because it's a plus sign. Okay, so watch for that. That's very common to happen. So these two questions and the next two will be under the factor fully section or completely section. That means you got to do several steps. Okay, so don't just stop early. You're going to have to do several factoring types. They're worth lots of marks. Try in GCF first, okay? Ashley? Yes, this one is sum and product. So the product equals plus 16. The sum equals negative 17. That combination tells you what? 2 negative numbers. Okay, go ahead. This one's going to be factor fully. Okay, do number 7 now. You're going to have several factors. So you should have got a squared minus 1 times a squared minus 16. This one you should have very easily seen as a plus 4 times a minus 4. But the square root of a is easy What's the square root of 1? 1. So you might not have got this a squared minus 1 can be done again. Okay, but you can factor them both. So for this one, we had 4 factors. Okay, 4 full factors. Questions? All right, let's say here, this number 8, you can just watch this. X equals 5m minus 1. So you're going to get x squared minus 36. X plus 6 times x minus 6. Then you substitute back in. So you're going to get 5m minus 1 plus 6. And then 5m minus 1 minus 6. And so here you're going to get 5m plus 5, 5m minus 7. Okay. I can also take a GCF out here and go 5 bracket m plus 1, 5m minus 7. Like, that's a really intense question. 10 honors, grade 11, but you will see something like that on your review just for good practice. Okay, because some of you are skilled and really care about doing really, really, really well. Okay, others, it's good to know. Any questions? All right. Okay, so perfect squares. What we want to do is just play around a little bit. Let's say I have a plus 9 and I square it. Let's not use a, let's use x. X plus 9 and I square that. So what we do is we multiply these two together. What's 9 times x? 9x. Then if you double it, that's going to be 18x. Okay. Now, what's an x squared? Sorry, x times x is x squared. What's 9 times 9? 81. So watch this. This is really cool. If you multiply it, you're going to get x squared plus 9x. Multiply it plus 9x. See how they multiply together and then double? Plus 81 from the last multiplication. So x squared plus 18x plus 81. The pattern, if you have a perfect square, is you multiply these two together and then you square the first, square the last. So if I'm going the other way, I simply divide this by 2. I get 9x. So 9x, and it's an addition because it's positive. Excuse me. So then my answer is x plus 9 squared. Check this out. X squared plus minus 12x plus 36. Divide this by 2. What do you get? Negative 6x. So minus 6x, square it. That's okay. Awesome stuff. Do you really need to know this? Nope. Is it good to know it? Does it make it easier? So a plus b squared. Now I'll tell you what the shortcut is. What's the shortcut? Multiply those together. What does that equal? AB. Now you're going to have 2 of them. So multiply. Why aren't you writing? That's why you're not learning. Multiply it by 2. That gives you 2AB. So the middle term is 2AB. Okay. Go back to the original question. Take this a and square it. What do you get? A squared plus 2ab. Okay, it's a plus sign because it's plus 2ab here. Okay, what's b squared? That's b squared. Now, if you don't know how to do that, write this thing out the long way and you'll be fine. Yep.
Why do you times AB by 2? Like, starting.
There's 1, there's 2. I know there's always going to be two terms like that. They're identical for a perfect square. It always happens. Okay? That's why. So what's the first? Okay? The first thing you do is multiply these together. What's negative b times a? Negative ab. How many are there, Navjeet? 2. So it's negative 2ab. So all we're doing is just a simple little trick, times it by 2 to get the middle term. Okay, square the first one, square the last one. A squared is a squared. Negative b squared is plus b squared. Okay. So that's the multiplication. Multiply them together. Now when we go the other direction, instead of timesing by 2, what are we going to do with the middle term? Divide it by 2. And now they split up. So now we're going the other direction. Reverse your arrows. Let's do it first with algebra tiles. So with the tiles, you got to make perfect squares. So here's your a squared. Now make a perfect square with 25. What should it be? 5 by 5. Right? You're all saying it. 5 by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 25. Then figure out your x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Different orientation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the factors now are up top. Right? See how we have to take these, right? This 10 x's that we have, and we have to divide into two equal groups. So we have a plus 5, or x plus 5, times x plus 5, or x plus 5 squared. So algebraically, a squared plus 10a plus 25. What's the first thing we have to do with the middle term? Divide by 2, so we get 5a. That's a plus 5a. So now we crisscross them. A plus 5 all squared. Crisscross, you're done. Divide by 2, crisscross, you're done. And we can double check. 5 squared is 25. A squared is a squared. And we get 10a in the middle. You guys want to try one more real quick? Let's try this one. X squared minus 14a. Sorry, more 14x. How many people think they know the answer already? Because I do. Plus 49. Okay. Divide by 2. Let's go. No, don't forget your negative sign. So divide this thing by 2. You get negative 7x. Crisscross. Makes you jump. Crisscross. So we get x minus 7 all squared. Ooh. Ah. Okay. Do you need to know it? Nope. But the text is going to ask you the next couple questions. Which ones are perfect squares? Why are they not? Now, if you don't know the pattern, what should you do? Factor, right? Factor them and see if they're perfect squares. But I look at this and I say, let's go to the first one. Okay. Well, divide this by 2, you get 5m. So m plus 5. No, this is wrong. Because you can't get a negative to multiply. So you can't get two. In order to get a negative, you have to have two opposite signs. So only way to get negative 25. So it's not perfect. It's not like Mr. Barker. Look at the next one. Divide by 2. What do we get? Negative 6x. Okay. So, is this a perfect square? Those would be 2x and 2x. This one's a little tricky because it's a harder trinomial, but this would be minus 3 and minus 3. Okay, so what happens is when you multiply them together, that's where you get your negative 6x. So for a harder trinomial, you're going to have to guess and check. So yes, and that's because you can get 2x minus 3 all squared. Okay, try the next one. Go. Two a and 4, 2a and 4. Do these multiply together to give you 8? Yep. Then double it, and you get 16a. Is that following the pattern? No, because we don't have 16a. What do we have? 8a. So it's not perfect. Okay, I'll give you some time on the last one. What you can do is square root the first and the last one to help figure out what goes in the brackets, and then guess and check with the multiplication. Okay. So there's a couple different ways of doing this. For the harder ones, that's probably an easier method. Right? This would be 7x. This would be 5y. Okay. If you multiply those together, they'll give you 35xy, but you need a negative. So if this is a negative, that's a negative. And when you double that, you get negative 70xy. So yes, this is a perfect square. Okay. So you're just checking your pattern. Now again, you can factor it and then multiply it out and double check. Okay. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? You can always do things the long way and double check it out if you don't get this shortcut. The textbook's going to ask you questions to hopefully help you get the shortcut. So,